So here we are with HJFE versus Vevi. It's the AOE Norway League and it's first division. So these players are, yeah, 1500 plus. Let's say that HJ is currently at 1550, but he's more of a teaming player than a 1v1 player. So he's absolutely skilled as a player, no question about that. He's playing, he is, back to the red here, he's playing his favorite sim as the Franks here. Loves his eco approach, the boom, and if you let Hoye have the free boom, he's going to dominate completely. Frank's prone to opening scout, but looking at the map here, there's actually kind of a potential for a full wall as well early on, but I think it's going to open the scouts regardless, even if it's against the Byzantines. So Vevi with the Byzantines, classified as a defensive civilization. You can see it from the hit points on the buildings here. 10, 20, 30 and 40% hit points, I believe, for the Byzantines throughout the ages. So makes it hard to breach their castles, for example. So what used to be a thing back in Woobly and MSN Zone and whatnot was a full Byzantines trash rush. It was really hard to counter when the maps were generally very open and quick walls weren't necessarily as much of a thing. The quality of life changes to Definitive Edition has made it a lot easier to focus on army micro and flashy quick walls and all that jazz. Because there's simply less multitasking to worry about in general. So Hoye scouting Vevi's side already. Maybe he's considering a lane here. He could snag the scouting sheep if he spots it. That's a brutal crater blue is living in. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And Hoye's as well, actually. It's not as bad, but they're both definitely in the ditch here. And that's one of the things too. But it's a higher hills here for Vevi. Doesn't make it easier. I guess he should be happy it's not up against a strong archer civ or something. Arbalest civ, that would be a nightmare with this kind of home base. So excuse the drinking pauses, but the mouth is going really dry for some reason. So are we going to see the scouts here? Probably yes. Oh yeah, did or did not push the... Did he push the hunt? I mean, zebras are in the back. He's found those. Didn't really push them. Franks have faster berries, so maybe you don't need to. But it's worth considering. He definitely didn't push the hunt. Vevi now getting Loom could be an indication of going up here at 20 pop. He is housed at 20 pop, but if you look at the meat the villagers are carrying here, he will be force dropping that and probably going to feudal age here. And invest into some of these cheaper Byzantine trash units like the spears and skirmishers and whatnot. Oh, moving forward now, Vevi indeed on the way up here, both with only 1 second idle this time. Same uptime. Oh yeah, with... oh, he's walling out his own villager here from the woodline, but I guess he could serve a different purpose. Bit unfortunate if he needs to delete the wall to let the villager in, but... Yeah, Goff's Dark Age Militia spam, that's kind of a Vevi and a Nope thing. I don't know which one of them invented it, but it's really, really annoying when when the map allows for it to work. You could play like triple or quadruple barracks with Goffs in the Dark Age and pull it off, but it's absolutely dependent on you denying the golds of the opponent. So this map doesn't really favor that, because Hoye has a safe back gold. He could, and if they are allowed to get gold, they'll get to the feudal age, they'll make archers and slay your militia. So, but I've seen both Vevi and Nope win with Goff's Dark Age militia spam. Yeah, I've used it in the rank as well. And I even pulled the villager forward and walled all of their resources and was just massively toxic. I built all of the barracks forward. And it worked. So, oh yeah, or they're both in the fuel age actually. Good dodge there, not allowing any heal advantage for Vevi. Taking a little bit of HP off there, so the scouts are out. Vevi will of course make the spearman at home. He knows the scouts are coming. He's walling off a bit. He's still open on the far side, but he has the spearman to cover the wallers. He should be fine. Oh yeah, scouts are moving forward. They could still idle economy, but they will have to be very wary of the... aware of the spear's presence here, so the spearmen don't get any pokes in. Hoye investing into another scout, so he's gonna have 4 scouts. I think he stops there. I think he realizes that the walls are half complete, and there are going to be spears here from the Byzantines, so I have to be careful. Nice low idle TC time for both, so no significant villager advantage. They're keeping that town center running, and as I say, that Hoye is idling a little bit, but nothing too crazy or mentionable. 4 scouts out, and they are Frank scouts with that extra HP, so you could definitely consider sniping 1 spear now, and Hoye goes for it. Yeah, he's going to take some hits to 1 scout, but he denies, is now in a position to deny the walls. Might get a villager here, that one is far from home, but more spears joining in. Hoye will have to bail, or commit, and he runs away. And takes HP of another scout as well. Minimal damage done to Vevi's side here. With full upgrades on scouts, you could do pretty good trades versus non-upgrades payment. Yeah. If you have micro skills, which I don't have, but yeah. You have to babysit the armies and the scouts all the time and not allow the spearmen to get hits in. But then again, you could say the same thing about spears. If the spears are full upgrades, the scouts are useless without their upgrades, or even with upgrades, so it's a trade-off. But usually you don't get upgrades for spearmen in the feudal age, of course. That's not a too common thing to do. Somewhat greedy walls from Vevi here, and he will actually lose a villager to the lion here, I think. Unless he's... no, he's not going to quick all that. He's not... Oh, he's dancing around. Oh, the spearmen get it! Ooh. Action. Rip. Can you dance away from this? And here comes Hoye with the scouts! Oh, will he see the villager? Get the villager, get the villager, get the villager! Now he commits to the spears instead. He has a bit of a heal advantage. And this is the last bit of walls for Vevi to complete. He's invested an absolute minimum into the spears here, and he wants to beat the Franks big time to the castle age. Byzantines, they get discounted camels as well. They get fully upgraded archers, are blessed, and they... Oh yeah, why aren't you... What? What? That's such an easy snipe! And Hoye unfortunately just passing. Just passing. Vevi now just missing the second building. Looks like he's going for the archers, and he's being punished for the greedy wall fast castle approach here, but he also didn't take a single villager loss yet. How this villager isn't dead, that's just beyond me. That's the second building needed, by the way, so if you kill that one, he'd need to rebuild it or send a new villager to complete that. That's ridiculous. It's 2 HP. This shouldn't happen. So it's extended scouts for Hoye. He doesn't get Bloodlands as the Frank, so 54 HP per scout, that's all he's gonna get. But he's going to do his very best to idle economy while Vevi is going up here. If Hoye watches the score, he might see the transition to the H-App here. He's taking a huge hit on the goal now, committing as well as he can. He has +1/+1 on the scouts, so he could trade decently against small numbers of spears as well. But the spearmen of Vevi, they are so dirt cheap that it shouldn't matter. They're both going Castle Age, so the uptimes, even with Vevi's minimal investment here, is going to be comparable. 15 farms for Vevi, 19 for Hoya, and the initial scout of Vevi just pounding away at the mining camp here, and must have been doing so for a while because that mining camp is at 390 HP. I'm gonna follow this one. I wouldn't. Okay, yeah, he repairs it. Never mind. Wouldn't want to see that mining camp die to a single scout. That would be awkward. Oh, he's still with the scouts, trying to take some heal advantage here. Why would he repair it instead of just killing or walling in the scout? Yeah, true as well. It didn't commit a lot to repairs. Maybe he just misclicked. Maybe just misclicked. So Vevi is in the cat cage. Here comes the second stable. He's going to spam the camels now. No, he's not. He's going to make knights against the Franks with Byzantines. Oh, he must think he's far ahead to the castle age now. He must think he's way ahead, but Hoya is also up. Which, if I'm Vevi, I start switching to camels immediately, seeing the Franks up. But we'll see. Maybe just relies on being able to outmass, but the knights cost the same for the Byzantines as for the Franks. So, but I don't see the application of knights here. Other than for raiding purposes, of course, some more damage output. Instant 2 town centers for Hoya here with the Castle Age. Nice economy after the scouts opening, more farms. Better upgrades on the knights coming in as well. He should absolutely shred Vevi's knights, but the camels, more of an issue. Byzantines, 15% or so cheaper camels. Oh, knights going down there, obviously. No bloodlines for the Byzantines. The camels doing their work here. Camels, now full camels for Vevi. Bails the idea of knights after being later up to the Castle Age. And now commits to the gold of Hoya, but Hoya has already secured gold over here with the town center. What's the army situation at 12 to 3? Hoya maybe a bit greedy on the boom here. 3 TCs is going to have good points of refuge for the villagers here, but he's falling behind in build reproduction. Doesn't have a monastery to get conversions in on the camels. Could even go for pikemen, but the eco doesn't really allow it at this point. Pikes efficiency versus camels, of course. But then Vevi could mix in his own pikemen if that's the case. Good aggression from Vevi here. He keeps hitting the most exposed part here, which is the gold. And as long as Hoya is going for the knights at equal upgrades of Vevi, he's going to struggle when outnumbered like this. Camels, especially without bloodlines, can't handle TC fire all that well though, so maybe we'll need to stay clear of the TCs until he has a convincing number of camels rolling. His army production seems better than Hoya at this point though. Behind the villagers, yes, ahead in army. Some very weak camels here. Vevi would benefit from some Byzantines monks in the mix here as well, both for conversions and for healing up, as the Byzantines unit's healing rate is higher than generic monks. Now, pay attention to the economy of Vevi here. It's actually not on gold at all. He's dropping a TC over here, so that might be the idea. But he seems to be content with the gold units currently at work and follow up with more trash as this progresses. Here comes a forward monastery. So speaking of, he could heal up some of his units. He's spearman, not really pikeman. He could afford pikeman upgrade at this point. I'm not sure if it's worth it for Just a few spears though, and only forging in. Maybe not. He really wants in on this gold here. And it's idling it a bit as well, considering that Hoya is walling behind. He must have, this could be a spec bug, these farms here, but scouting could be better for Vevi in that case to... Yeah, it's probably seen that there's some expansion going on to the sides here. Or expecting. Pikemen were spearmen here, but the spearmen are in the numbers. Camels kind of out of position. They're trying to, well, they are succeeding in taking out one stable here. But now with pikes in defense for Hoye and second defense coming in, that camel investment isn't going to pay off as well anymore for Vevi. I think Hoye wants to try some counter-aggression now. Maybe idle some of the stray TCs out. The Siege Workshop is up for Vevi though, so if he mixes in some Scorpions here, he'll still have a decent response to the Pikeman, and he also has the range at home, so he could make crossbows and make a transition into Arbalest. He certainly has wood for it. It's open, but the camels are on point for Vevi. He's even trying to get a little bit of a surround here on the camels. Yeah, since he already had a range, he could have opted for a ranged option for sure. But the aggression still worked out. Vevi actually ahead in builders now. He's got 3 TCs of his own. He didn't kill a lot, but he idled a lot of Hoye's economy. As you can see, the idle TC Hoye had to invest into pikemen, into knights. That's food and gold going down the out of the bank in resources in that regard. And he's chasing the knights down now, the remaining knights, so Hoye can't use them to counter raid. Hoye now raiding with pikemen, and the siege workshop of Vevi is forward and not at home. He could still make skirmishers though against this pikeman. He has trash, cheap trash options with the skirmishers. He has the eco for it as well. That would be a decent response to the pikes, or if you wanna avoid the minimum range, you could also make archers. Hoye with the defensive castle, but that comes at the cost. The mangonel is out. That's going to stop the siege push, but it's going to cost some builder lives as well, 90 to 70. Keep in mind, Vevi with the Byzantines also has a discount for the Imperial Age upgrade, which is... oh, he gets a conversion as well. Lots of monks, so... oh, stay away from the castle fire. Cheaper Imperial Age for the Byzantines. Look at the eco differences here. Vevi hasn't been spending nearly as much on unit transitions and stuff here, and it looks to me like he wants to go Imperial Age here. Camels just chilling out over here. They don't serve a purpose anymore when there aren't knights on the field, as Hoya tries for a forward castle to deny this gold over here. And a 1 villager town center for Vevi. Convincing score lead for Vevi now. Might or might not matter. 4 monks too. And why not just pull the camels back to deny this? 4 conversions! And instantly making use of those builders. Thank you very much. So it's Vevi using the 4 newly acquired converted builders. They converted super fast into a semi-forward stable here. No Imperial Age yet, which is surprising. We have 16 also. Where the heck are all those? So we're definitely going to see a Byzantine's castle and an earlier Imperial Age push here. And Vevi has been floating wood for, yeah, quite a while here. Generally floating resources, but these other 2 could be just for the Imperial Age transition. Hoya makes another attempt at the castle, but Vevi will have none of it. The monks have recharged and more villagers being converted here. 21 to 14 military, but Vevi with a convincing economic lead here. And that idle TC time, pretty darn low. So Hoya makes more defensive castles, but if Vevi makes that Imperial Age transition, which he will soon, maybe actually needs... No, he has the 2 buildings. I think he'll Q Imp somewhere soon. 2 builder castle, that's competence if I've ever seen it. Axemen are out. But so are the back on the Byzantines Knights here, these camels. Vevi apparently has forgot about. They've been having a family meeting up in the left corner here for a while. I guess there's army presence here to stop Hoya from engaging, but still 2 villagers building a castle, that's going to take forever. Both players going Imp now, no significant advantage. Hoya knows the importance of matching the Byzantines Imp because they have such a cheap transition to Imp. They'll usually, in most cases, be up before you, but now looking at the timings here, Hoya is actually a few seconds ahead. No, it's getting value here for Hoya. It's the Eco KD is similar, but Vevi has had more consistent TC production behind this. And that 2 builder castle that's freaking long to complete over here. And Campbell's at work. They've done with their lunch break. They've been chilling out for 10-15 minutes of the game. But now they are going to find some very exposed farms in the back here. Mastermind move to just keep the camels and maybe have Hoya believe they're dead, but no, here they come, entering raiding party from the back. They've been waiting for this the whole time. It's the camels' time to shine. And they will die to TC fire. I think Vevi needs to brush up on his patrol hotkey, because that could have been a lot more villagers dead. Imperial Ages in castles are trading place. How are they even allowed to? They're hissing castles here, but Vevi has way more villagers building them. Should be an easy completion for the Byzantines first here. Is even asking more villagers. He wants to complete his castle so quickly that he could shoot the villagers before it completes. And the monk is here interrupting the building. Nice. Lots of economy going into that castle going up, but stops the forward castle. And now it's 2 castles to 2 here for the Byzantines player. Hoya keeps building. He's not going to complete that. He deletes it. Oh, to get at least some return for the stone here. Throwing Axeman from Vevi. Actually, he converted an Axeman. That's funny. I'm so used to seeing Franks playing blue, so this is confusing to me that the Franks player is actually in the red. War Monks. Should be interesting to see the conversion stats after. One hokey pokey boy against the other. Trebuchets are out for Hoya here, but he is at an economic disadvantage. He has some military momentum. He's going into halbs. He cleaned up the camels in the back. But Vevi has the hill advantage against the other Treb here. Ooh, and Cataphracts. Elite Cataphract! What? Since when are we able to afford Elite Cataphract in a 1v1? Vevi is just... He's flexing now. He's making Elite Cataphracts out of 2 castles here, and they have they have full upgrades. Maybe except for Logistica. And even Halberdiers don't work against Elite Cataphracts. Throwing Axemen shouldn't work either, because they are a ranged melee unit, so the Cataphracts, once they get close, should be shredding the Axemen as well. Castle stands on the hill, more Cataphracts popping out here, and Hoya, you don't stop this, I think. Best bet is mass arbalests, and Franks don't get them. And even if that were the case, the mass arbalest wouldn't really, be a thing of a switch at this position in the game. Only 1 trap for Vevi though, so he's chilling out and enjoying life here, but he has 28 elite cataphracts. Here comes Logistica as well. And if I'm the Franks player here, I would be absolutely disheartened Trebs won't work, the Cataphracts will snipe those. They will basically snipe everything now with Logistica in, and behind all this, Vevi is also collecting the relics. As he is once again trying to control this gold. He really doesn't want Hoyo to take this gold for some reason. Hoyo has to buy stone for repairs. Now he's running out as he places one on the sides down here of Vevi, and Vevi can't deny this one, I think. He has the Cataphracts here, maybe with that trample damage, let's see. It's only halfway there, maybe this castle gets denied as well. Maybe. He could force the committed villagers to attack as well. It's dangerously close, but again, there's that trample damage on the Cataphracts and the heal advantage. Look at this. This is going to be. Is it going to be denied? What percent? What percent? Now it goes up. It goes up. But for how long? The bombard cannons are out for Vevi. He is making everything, and his only thing is kind of short on now is gold. Now he's raiding with the Cataphracts, and yeah, TC is going down at quick pace here. GG is called. It's 33 elite Cataphracts out on the field together with bombard cannons and trebs. You just don't defend that with the Franks. GG well played to Vevi. Let's see what Hoya's home map brings us for the next one. Identical uptimes. All the way. That's a bit fascinating to see, but the economy overall better for the Byzantines. Surprising against Franks with all of their eco bonuses, but that's the way it went here. Okay, second game. Hoya home map. And it's going to be Acropolis. So what do we have here? We have Hoya with the Huns for Acropolis. He wants to play the Cav Archers probably here. Could go 1 pound center extended aggression with the Huns if he's able to pull off the scouts into Cav Archers here. Or even Drush fast cattle Cav Archers. Both boars forward, always an issue when laming is allowed, but that's the case for both players, so you could counter lame if you get hit. Now, Vevi with the Indians. Also, actually, or honestly, better Cav Archers for the Indians in the long run, because they get full upgrades as opposed to the Huns. But the Huns Cav Archers, they are 20% cheaper. So it's easier for Huns to mass them. Is this woodland or is it gold for the Drush? It's going to the woodland. Alright. So I'm kind of expecting scouts from both here. Indians could have nice and quick uptimes as well because they save food for their villagers. 5, 10, 15, 20% cheaper villagers for Indians throughout the ages. Easy boom as the game goes on, and then easier V-boom in the Imperial Age if you need to. So, as mentioned about Acropolis in the previous cast, you'll usually know that the opponent, in most cases, will be on this side, on the right or the opposite side. There's the off chance that the spawns are on these sides, so they're very close to each other, but in general, you have to move all the way across the map to access the enemy economy. It did just almost look like Vevi killed the boar with DC there, but it's fine. Hoya finds the hill, he finds the TC perhaps as well, but he is wise to not move close enough for TC range. Ooh, he could snag some geese as well, because Vevi doesn't have those scouted. Here we go. Enter another boar running in here. Vevi finds the last few geese, so he's fine. He's doesn't lose any precious food to lames here now. Again, we're looking at a fairly similar idleness time here. 5 seconds for Vevi, 1 for Hoya. Hoya will be getting a slightly quicker fuel age uptime here. He has 4 wood, but that could be to compensate for the minus 100 wood to start for the hunts, and also the fact that Hoya generally likes to have 4 wood, even if he's going to scouts. That's just his preference for the scouts build order, and as long as you push in deer or whatever you do, you'll be able to compensate for the food that villagers could have been collecting. No mill yet for Hoya. Ah. And now pushing in the hunt. He's getting loom. Don't think he has enough food to click up right after the loom here, but I might be mistaken. He's quite close. He has to force drop a little bit, and he will be going up at... wait, no, he's idling. Oh, what's going on here? Did he stress out and totally forget about the mill? Here comes the barracks. Fuel age is on the way, and affording the stable shouldn't be an issue at all. Now the rest of the villagers moving out. I think they're going here for the lumber camp, second lumber camp. That's something you will very often see on the Acropolis. First lumber camp on the hill, the second one downhill. Unless you want to stay just one lumber camp, then you maybe go for the lower end of the hill lumber camp first. Vevi scout is on point, confirms the barracks is going up. Looking for a flag, he's not going to see any. He's just going to expect the scouts for now. They're both up at 20 pop, but Hoye with that little extra idle time from lacking the food is going to be slightly later to the fuel age. It shouldn't be of too much significance though, because assuming they both go for scouts, Hoye's stables work 20% faster. So as the stables complete, Hoye will compensate for those seconds. Oh, bad villager pathing there for Hoye. Could lose one to scout, but I think this villager makes it back home without any troubles. Indeed, the scouts for both players, so we'll see some feudal age scouts aggression here. And Vevi, instead of pushing in the hunt, opts for the long distance ibex here with 4 villagers. Why 4 villagers? Because if you use 4 villagers, you'll take all of the meat instead of having 3 when you have to return and pick off the restful. Yeah, we'll play TGs after. That's cool. So you're too scared to play a show match, huh? We can do that some other time after a casting session. Just for fun. An impromptu show match with all of the land maps. Even Beachy and Black Forest and that shit. And the Empire Wars maps. That should be crazy enough. No picking, just random. Prize pool. Honor and glory. Alright, Hoye with 3 scouts, Vevi with 3 scouts. As said, faster working hunt stables compensating for the slightly slower uptime of Hoye. Idle TC times now again comparable. No villagers lost for either player. 25, and aside from the defensive spearmen, their armies are mirrored as well. That's a neat touch, by the way, that you can see this dot is dark now. I could even click on it to be led to where it's producing. But as it goes more blue, that's closer to completion. And then once it pops out, dot disappears and is replaced by another dark one. So you could actually follow the production progress as well. So if they're quite even in the production, you could tell from the dots who is slightly ahead. Oh, yeah, keeping the scouts defensively now. Couldn't really engage with the defensive spearmen on the side here. They're not really dealing damage to each other. And that's playing into Hoya's plans here, to be honest. If Hoya doesn't have to invest so much into the Feudal Age aggression, he could just go for the gold, get to the Castle Age, and go for the Cavalry Archers. Which I think might be the plan, but he could, of course, just completely mind game the Indians and go for the Knights as well. All depending on the progression to the Castle Age. But as we can see here, Vevi is much closer to the Castle Age in terms of resources, so Knights won't really be an option for Hoya. But Cav Archers against Indians Camels, if that's what Vevi goes for, that's an easy call for Hoya, and even Cav Archers against Cav Archers, because the Huns ones are cheaper. So I'm curious to see what the Castle Age brings here. I feel like Hoye is taking his jolly good time to expand the economy here, and because he's building up the economy like this, that kind of leads me to believe he wants to play the Knights after all. Vevi, however, should go Cav Archers, if you ask me, because he's scouted Hoya's side. He's seen that expansion of the woodland here with the small walls. He's seen this one with the small walls. No need to go for camels right away here. Just go, unless Hoya goes for knights and matches the castle time, but that's not going to happen. Barracks for Hoya, double barracks. Feel like this is going to be a bit like last game. Yeah, maybe. That it drags out until Imperial Age and then one player dominates. We're not going to see nearly as much trash though. More farms for Hoya again could be an indication of a defensive play here. Double barracks already, triple barracks in fact. But that could just be pikes as a meat shield for his cav archers as well. But he didn't drop any ranges, but there's lots of wood. You obviously, when you have the typical amount of wood for a scouts or whatever play in the feudal age, with the hunts, you'll hoard more wood because you never need to build houses, and that saves you at least 4,000 wood in one game. Yeah, Vevi definitely shouldn't be going camels now, looking at the way Hoya plays this. And Hoya is apparently expecting the camels, going into triple barracks spearmen. Could also be planning a pike siege push, which Indians might struggle against, because camels, they don't do well against pikes, and spearmen don't do well against scorpions, for example. And then ramps and mangonels could eat TC, so Vevi is going for the camels. He has double stable camels production. Not the best raiding unit, sadly. Will of course clean up the scouts. And I think this TC completes before Hoya can do too much here. Oh, tries the quick wall. Doesn't happen in time. But TC will complete. And even if Hoya engage, I think it could commit here to delay that TC even further, but probably not worth it. That's a lot of spearmen for Hoya, about to become pikemen with squires. Amazing against the camels investment. Vevi will need to change plans very soon. Otherwise he won't have any response to the spearmen here. Siege Workshop going up as well. That's kind of revealing the plans here. So that's something that Vevi will scout. But seeing the pikemen is probably expecting that anyway. So no judgment there, of course. Scouts getting some value. And they might deny the TC because all the pikes are out of position. More coming out though, so I think with the quick walls here, Hoya will still complete the town center up on his home hill here. Scouts against camels, that's never gonna end well for the camels. And the camels will try to snipe the battering ram, but the pikes are on point to for the villagers for Hoy on the woodline there. That's not gonna end well for them, but they do survive for now. Just Vevi still, yeah, he's seen the second barracks. Of course, he knows what's up here now. He's up against the pike siege push. He's making siege of his own. Good reaction. And it's a ram and the second ram for Hoya, so no mangonels, no ranged option. So for now, Vevi could get away with making only mangonels to defend, but he's also going into what? he's also going into the cap archers here, which is a good switch. And I guess after broken on the woodland here, Hoya kind of loses motivation. Didn't seem like. Seems like he had the plan. It's, surely this could be over yet, but he's lost some villagers. That's always disheartening. But I didn't see the GG coming in just yet. Also a bit abrupt, but yeah. I've been calling GGs at unexpected moments myself, so I get that, of course. So that ends that set 2-0 for Vevi in the Norway League. Can confirm, yes. Correct.